Hi and welcome. My name is Tim Titchmarsh, IronSpeed MVP from .NET Architect here in the UK. Today we're going to be talking about initializing values using the property sheet, and I'm using IronSpeed version 12. So what I've got here is a small application that I've built. I'm going to run it in a second, and then we're going to talk about how we might initialize some of the fields. So let's run that. Just take a second to build, and then we'll get our Internet Explorer up with default page. So this is a very simple application, just showing the sort of the make, model, year. But what I want to do is every time I add a vehicle, I want to be able to automatically set the color. Okay, and there are various ways we can do that. So I'm going to start off by setting a default color of, say, red. Okay, so what I need to do is within IronSpeed I need to locate the field in question, okay, which is the color field, and off to the right hand side you can see I've got my property sheet. Okay, now this property sheet can be turned off from the view menu, okay, and it can also be pinned, i.e. so that it's always on view. Because I've got quite a large screen, I tend to keep my property sheet open all the time. So in that, in the property sheet we've got a number of properties and a number of values, and what I need to do is every time that dialog for adding a record appears, I need to make the color red. So where do we start? Okay, we're off to the right hand side. We've got the property sheet and we've got actions, appearance, so we've got a number of sections here. The one I'm interested in is initialized when adding record value. Okay, as you can see, it's set to the color default value, okay, which in this case is nothing. So every time that appears, that dialog appears, it will be empty. We need to change that to red. Now, even though you can read the value in there, you can't change it. You've got to click on the little ellipses here, which brings up a dialog. Now, there's several ways we can edit it. We can either delete it and just type in our own, because we know it's a string, our own value, or we can right click, and off to one of the pop-up menus there are a number of items. We're going to do the very simple approach by just typing in a hard fixed value. Okay, so let's click OK. If we now build this again and run it, I expect to see red appear every time I add a vehicle using the add vehicle menu. So this is building, up it comes. So if we go to vehicle, add vehicle, and as you can see it's filled in red. Now because this was a string and I've typed in a string, then that's fine. If you've got dates, you can type in dates so that they automatically appear. Drop downs, you can set those as well. So anything can be set during the add vehicle load page. That's an easy way, but that's rather static. There are other ways we can do that. So let's say if I wanted to, from the menu, pick an option from the menu and pass in the color on that menu option. How would I do that? Okay, so let's go and remove our edit that we made. So I'm just going to delete that, and I'm just going to, for now, pop back the default value. Okay, so we're back to where we started. So what I need to do now is find my menu. Okay, here's the menu panel on the left. If I right click, configure. If we now locate the vehicle, add vehicle entry, and look at the URL, I'm going to add a parameter to the end of that URL called color, and I'm going to spell it the American way. There we go, and I'm going to set it this time to green. Okay, so now that will be green, which I'm passing across. So every time I go in via the menu option, I will get a green. So let's go back and see how we might pick that up in the add vehicle. So again, back to the color field. Let's go and edit our entry. So this time, rather than hard coding it in here, I'm going to pick it up from the URL. So if we right click and then go to functions, if we look under environment, there are a number of places we can pick values up. One of them could be from a cookie, from a resource string, from the session, or from the URL. Well, we're going to be using the URL, so I'm going to choose that option. And as you can see, it's filled in for us a template of what it's looking for. Now I know that we're only going to be passing one value in the URL. IronSpeed sometimes can expect two if you're using XML parameters, but we're only going to be using one. So I'm going to give it this time the name of the parameter, okay, color. So when this page loads, it will look for the parameter called color, and whatever is assigned to that, in this case green, will pull that value in. So let's click OK. Let's now run that again. And if we go to the menu for add vehicle, now we can see in the URL it's put it in as green as we expected, and you can see it's picked it up in our page in the color text box. Okay, if I go to show vehicle, let's see if this will work, and add vehicle from this way, you can see it's empty because we haven't passed it in the URL. So when it does go and look in the URL, of course it's not there, so it's blank. Okay, so that's just to show you the different ways of doing that. Okay, so that really shows us in very simplistic terms how to initialize values using the property sheet. I hope you found that useful. Also see in our series here how to initialize validation using the property sheet, and the other video how to initialize and amend the queries using the property sheet. Thanks very much for now, and look forward to talking to you soon.